Hi, and welcome back to Bean Talk. Today we're going to talk about a very special machine, maybe the best single group machine money can buy, the Slayer single group. If you're new to our channel, our name is Bean Talk Coffee News and we like to talk about all things coffee. Whether this is reviews like today where we talk about machines or have interviews with people from the industry, visit a local coffee festival, stuff like that, we like to do it all. If you're a coffee enthusiast just like us, please hit the like button and subscribe, it would mean a lot. Back to the machine. I don't think I have to tell you the machine looks absolutely stunning, and in my opinion it's one, if not the best looking espresso machine out there. Talk about the design features. Of course, we have here our X legs that Slayer is famous for, or the Slayer Espresso is famous for. We have here our brew group, which uses this actuator to control the machine. And of course, as you can see, it's fully manual. It's not volumetric. What you see right away are these wooden accents that are used throughout the machine. They're also, together with the machine, completely handcrafted in Seattle. I think this wood is called European ash. The quality of the wood of the portafilter is just amazing. It's also one thing that makes working with the Slayer so much fun. Just touching everything and using the machine, it just feels already very, very premium. So we have this lever on the left side for our steam, and then here on the right side for our hot water. One more thing that you have here with the single group compared to the Slayer Espresso, the V3, that you might have seen in some other videos that we used in the background. This actually comes with a touch screen and a whole menu where you can set the machine, different settings and so on, that I will talk about a little bit later on. Let's talk a little bit about the key features besides the stunning design of the machine. We have our coffee boiler, which has 1.1 liters of volume. So for such a small machine, of course, this is a huge boiler. And then we have our steam boiler sitting in the back that has 3.3 liters. And of course, due to this, we have massive steam power. What might be worth mentioning, while this is a single group machine and some people might have it in their homes, this was built for commercial use. You can see it when you work with the machine and what it's capable of. This is not a household machine, but it's actually a professional machine that you could maybe fit in your house. We have these two massive boilers that guarantee an incredible temperature stability of the machine. But the temperature stability is not the only thing that makes the coffee so great about this Slayer single group. The key feature or what makes the Slayer a Slayer is the patented needle valve technology. So basically what it does is it restricts the flow of the water. With my actuator, I have three positions. I have off, of course. I have on, where I go with the full pump pressure into the coffee. And then I have this middle position. In this middle position, this is my pre-brew position, is where the water gets restricted through the needle valve, meaning that there's just less water coming onto the coffee, and therefore you can make a very, very long pre-infusion or pre-brew, as Slayer calls it. And by long, I mean around 25 seconds. We have this needle valve and you can also change it. So with this blue knob, whether you open or close it, of course, there's less or more water coming out. Usually how you measure it is you take a scale, put a cup on top, then once flush it, and then you check how much water is coming out within 30 seconds. Of course, here with the single group, we have a shot timer compared to the V3 that doesn't have it. So you can actually see 30 seconds how much water comes out and then set it accordingly to that. So now, for example, I have around 55 milliliters of water coming out within 30 seconds. And yeah, so depending on the coffee you use, you might want to increase or decrease flow rate. So for people that might have been to the Vienna Coffee Festival this year, saw me working at the Slayer booth together with a large Slayer Espresso V3, a 3-group version, and some stuff from other workshops. You can set the needle valve, and what this does to a coffee, the increase or decrease flow rate, I'll talk about later when I actually make coffee with the machine. So of course we have talked about this part here, the group of the machine, which is also saturated, of course. And yeah, and then let's talk about the steamer pretty quick. Like I said, you have massive power with the steamer. What is worth mentioning is that this is one of the few machines where if you change the position, it actually changes how much steam comes out. Meaning that you can also use this for, I don't know, for your cafe latte or having a large milk jug without a problem once you go full power. But then what you can also do is, even if you have a small jug and just fill it a little bit for your macchiato or cortado, you can still steam it because you can regulate it this well. I worked 3 years with an Espresso V3 at Balthasar Cafe Bar in Vienna. So that's why I know these machines by heart, and I love them, love working with them. While we could really steam huge jugs when there was a lot going on, we could really steam milk for just a macchiato without a problem. This is something I don't find with many machines you can do. I know it's a small feature, but still it's very, very nice to work with. With this machine, the single group, so it can also be used for home users actually. You have some nice key features that you can use with the display. For example, you can change the brew temperature, which is very important. You can just set it here with the touch screen. You can adjust the pump pressure. You can do a group cleaning, which is quite nice because it just does it automatically. Put in your preferred cleaning powder and clean the machine automatically, which is always nice to have. Then of course you can change the steam pressure. Right now it's set to 1.5 bars. It has some options for power management. You can also program standby times. What you can also do is you can set the pre-brew timer. Instead of going manually, you can actually set it to, for example, 20 seconds, and then you just go full position on the far left here. And then after 20 seconds, the machine automatically changes from pre-brew to full brew. So it's just kind of handy stuff like that you can do with the display. Of course, besides that you have a shot timer with pre-brew and also the actual brew time. But I think the moment we've all been waiting for is making coffee with the machine and talking about why it is such an incredible machine and what makes a Slayer shot a Slayer shot. Like I said before, we have our 3 positions: off, pre-brew and full brew. Making coffee, what I do here, prepare my filter with the coffee, insert it, and then once I've done that, I will go to pre-brew. I can actually look here in the mirror, which is also a very nice design feature. From this mirror, you actually see onto the naked portafilter. You will see how it slowly saturates and coffee starts dripping. And then of course, once it properly starts dripping, I will go from this position to full brew, which is usually probably going to be around 20 to 25 seconds. Once I'm in full brew, I can either make the rest of the shot in this position, or what I can also do is return to a post brew. Return to this position, meaning that again, the flow is reduced and then the pressure slowly decreases. Also making a difference to the extraction of the coffee, of course. Let's make some coffee. When you watch closely now, you will see, first off, of course, that we'll go to pre-brew, then watch at the shot mirror, and where you can see how the coffee saturates. And once it starts dripping, I will go to full brew. And then of course, then I have the option whether I want to go back to my post brew or just turn off, which I'm going to do a short post brew in this case. Let's make some coffee. watching in my shot mirror here in the back, I will see how it starts saturating. Yeah, the pressure is also building up here. Now I will go to full pressure. Reduce. So now they have my coffee. Let's talk about the why we make it this long pre-brew. The total brew time is around 45 to 50 seconds because of my long pre-brew. What this does is, of course, I have my coffee here. Water slowly starts dripping on here, which of course, like regular pre-infusion, the coffee can expand, you have less channeling, stuff like that, which results in a more even extraction. Because of this very, very restricted flow, I can make this very long. Taste-wise, I can just get a more rich kind of coffee with this Slayer shot. The thing about Slayer is this was not built regularly, by like most Italian espresso machine manufacturers that used to build boilers, then started building espresso machines. It's a bunch of engineers that might not have too much to do with the actual product, with the coffee. Slayer was founded and developed by a group of coffee enthusiasts that worked with coffee, worked behind the bars, were skilled baristas, and they wanted to build a machine that would make the coffee like they wanted to taste. So for them, they tried coffees and cupping tables and were like, wow, this is such incredible taste, so sweet. But then with regular espresso machines that were available at the time, they could not get these kind of flavors out of the coffee and into the espresso cup. That's why they created this needle valve technology where they found they could actually do that. And even for me, the coffee from a Slayer, it always tastes a little bit different than from another espresso machine, just because of this pre-brew technology. Especially talk about sweetness and balance of the cup. At the Vienna Coffee Festival, for example, we made coffee with the V3. While I had two groups set basically more for a medium roast or espresso roast, one of the groups I restricted the flow even further, meaning that less water would come out in my pre-brew position. And I did that to use it for light roasts. Of course, at a coffee festival, we go around, borrow some coffee from people to try, from some of my friends, like also from Cafelix or Wild Cafe. I borrowed some coffee, some light roast, more roasted for filter coffee. And usually when you make them with a regular espresso machine, they might tend to be very acidic. While some people enjoy that, to others, this might be unpleasant. Very restricted flow and this long pre-brew. You have long extraction times without over-extraction. What I had was incredible, fruity, sweet kind of espresso with this filter roast. They were very balanced, even though they were so light in the roast. And this is to me where the huge advantage of the Slayer comes in. That you can make these balanced cups, get some flavors out of the coffee that otherwise you wouldn't. It's worth mentioning that while I have this actuator that's like a paddle, it is not a pressure profiling machine. I don't pressure profile, I restrict the flow, and so it's what they call flavor profiling, because I can adjust, of course, the flow through the needle valve and also just how long I stay in which position. And this is how you change the taste of the coffee with this machine. To me, it's not like other machines where I have like complicated graphs and you can do all this sort of stuff. To me, it's more like a machine for the enthusiast, for, like Gabriele, he always likes to say, it's like a race car driver. You don't have too much, like in a race car, you don't need all the fancy things you might have in your everyday car, but you want full control and leave it to the barista in this case. That's what this machine is. It's not going to be built for regular restaurant or maybe a cafe where people are not skilled in handling this sort of machine. That was not the aim of Slayer. They wanted to build the ultimate espresso machine for the enthusiast. Working manually can sometimes be a bit of a pain, but once you get used to it, not that hard. This machine is definitely going to reward you for the work and passion you put into it. It's going to reward you not only with amazing feeling of working with it, it is a lot of fun, but also with an incredible result in the cup. So that was the Slayer single group, an incredible machine that also comes with its price tag. let's say like that. If you want to know exact price, you gotta have to ask your local Slayer dealer for it. I know it's expensive and might not be for everyone. Once you've worked with it, touched everything and know how it works, it's definitely worth an investment. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the machine, if you've worked with it before. That's it for today. Next week we will talk about something else that you might have seen laying around here, working with it, the Moonraker, so definitely check that out once we drop the new video with it. And yeah, until next time, drink lots of good coffee. Bye!